Hey guys, James Young. Want to talk about self-help books. Um, most, if you find yourself on this channel, it is likely that you've been down the self-help, uh, uh, how to improve yourself hole. And there's one key problem I find with people that put out self-help material. I guess a bit like me. What's happened is they've found their niche. I'm talking Tony Robbins, Mel. It's Mel Robbins as well, isn't it? Tim Ferriss to some extent, but we'll move on to him. Let's take Tony Robbins. He's found a world in which he can make $1 gazillion, which he's done, right? And there's a moment when he goes from actually helping people to monetizing. And it's that inflection point that makes him real to just not real. And as soon as they bring out the book, so as soon as I find that someone's brought out the book, you're done. You're history. You're not helping anybody. The books of Tony Robbins are like this big. Books of Mel Robbins, who she's now just spinning them out. They're like this big. And it's, 5 this, 5 that, steps, 5 steps, 10 tips. And they're all, it's like, it's a whole book that could have been 3 pages of the summary. Just give me the summary, Mel. I don't need to read 200 pages. Same with Tony Robbins. He's written all his books. And the last one really did ruin it for me. And basically, I've now put a cap on any self-help person, guru. Because what Tony Robbins did, with no experience whatsoever, wrote a huge book about your financial freedom and how to trade the stock market. He's never traded. He's never had to invest. He has no life experience in it. He's never worked at a bank. He's never worked at a hedge fund. Yet he's giving out, after just interviewing people, how to do it. It's like someone interviewing the Formula One drivers and then going, oh, this is how you drive an F1 car. He's never done it. He's never done it, and he has no right to be spouting off at how to, in this example, invest. He's managed to, this is Tony Robbins, help himself out of poverty and, he used to be a rat catcher or something. He's managed to get himself out, and so he helped himself, right? Stick to what you know, because finance is not your area. Mel Robbins, I've read a few of her books. I literally couldn't get past the first chapter of her last book. It was so terrible. There's a bit of a lost in translation because she's US and I'm UK, and it just doesn't translate to believable material. And it's all stating the obvious. As soon as point 1 is a state the obvious, I don't want to just pick on something off the top of my head, but if their solution is to state the obvious, like get up every day at 5, make a list, got it, I got it. I want something with value, add value to me. Why 5 a.m. or why a list? Why? Link it in, make it work for me. And both those two failed. Tim Ferriss, to some extent, again, the 4-hour body, 4-hour working week. And there's 1,000 books. Simon Sinek with his why concept. It's what I hate is when you take in this material, and then there's nothing actionable. There's nothing actionable. The best books for me, the ones that I've read not once but twice, sometimes 3 times. I've just finished Henry Ford's autobiography 3 times. Literally, I got to the end, I went straight back to the beginning, because the stuff he says in his in his autobiography, it's as relevant in his day as it is today. It's still relevant. And it's people that have actually done something, you know. So like Phil Knight of Nike, his book is outrageously brilliant, you know. He's real. Everything he says is real. He's done it. He's been there. He's grafted. I don't know why I always use the word grafted. Tony Robbins just created a whole spin around him of self-help and you know, euphoric, you know, behavior with like some kind of priest. You know, Phil Knight's, you got to read the book. It's just amazing. You know, it's like when I read a sportsman's autobiography, you can just feel through the words that they've been there and done it and sweated and bled, and they've seen the up, the down, the everything. It's authentic and it's real. Give me an autobiography 1,000 times over a self-help book. And I tried. I really did persevere with the self-help books, thinking they would give me something to make me a better person. But I've always got more out of the autobiographies. You know, whoever your, like, I don't want to say hero, the companies you like, you know, Elon Musk. I don't know if he's written his own book yet. I should check that, because, you know, he's such a lateral thinker that, you know, when he comes out with something, I want to read it because I want to see how he thinks, because that's the stuff that is inspiring, because he's real. He's creating companies that will change the planet. God, that's so cheesy. That's so terrible. Anyway, Phil Knight, read it. Autobiographies, read them. Self-help books, just put them in the fire. You do not need to waste your time reading them. The other bit that gets me about self-help books is, so Tony Robbins, right? His book's like this big. If you're a self-help guru, you want me to spend all that money on that book and spend all that time reading it, how much value am I getting? Is it maybe just value to your pocket? Because if someone wanted to help me, they would say to me, don't read this book. It's a waste of your time. If I can't summarize it in 3 pages, I'm not helping you. I'm wasting your time and money. You're the mug, you know? Like, give me 3 slides, but they can't, can they? Because a publisher needs, you know, he needs a content, he needs a book, he needs something to go on the shelf. That's why it's nonsense. It's not a story. It's why I love the autobiographies. It's a life span of knowledge that you're getting. You know, even Mike Tyson's book, recently out, it's an amazing read. It's the grit of his life, just nothing what you expected. And from that, I've gleaned so much more, like motivation and ideas, than any of these other, you know, self-help books. You know, Fire the Dragon. What is it? What is Tony Robbins one? Fire the Dragon Within or something. Whereas you asked me about Mike Tyson's childhood, I can tell you about it because it was so riveting and so real, and that it meant so much more. Anyway, I just really want you to avoid self-help books. Go to autobiographies. That is my tip. If you know, and I'm trying to help you. My self-help tip for you is not to waste your time on those books. I hope that's useful. Let me know if you do know of any self-help books that are super good in the comments. Write them down, what it is, who it's by. I'll always give the first chapter a go. If I can't make it past the first chapter, but I will try, because, you know, you always got to have an open mind, and you never know, someone one day might actually have some good advice. Until then, if you know of any good autobiographies that I should hit up, let me know them, because I want to read them, because I find people's lives fascinating, and the bits they choose to tell you about are probably the key bits that you need to be learning from. All right, thanks guys, see you in the next one.